Hi. Thanks for this. I wanted to ask what. Sorry. When you saw revival in New York, if you wanted to just comment on what kind of specifically that looked like, and then I don't know if it's a completely different question. It might be more relevant. What do you think the particular cultural difficulties are in our context for seeing biblical revival? So particular repentance issues that might be tough for us to go after, or obstacles to, I don't know, it manifests different in every culture and every age. So I'm just wondering what you're seeing for our culture right now.
Okay. When you say in New York, you mean my early years.
Yeah.
You don't mean the Fulton Street Revival of 1857. I wasn't there. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Yeah. Okay. Well, this may sound a little bit like a cop-out, but I actually, when I went down my description, when I talked about sleepy Christians, nominal Christians, and all that, that was what I saw. First of all, we had people who came to Redeemer in those first years who had been Christians in other churches. When you start a church, you're always going to bring some people in from other churches that were evangelical. And we had some dramatic conversions, some people who said, I was raised in a Christian home, and I was the treasurer of the church I came from, and I now realize that I've been living an inconsistent life, but I didn't understand the gospel in a way, and so I had people like that. I also had a number of people who had began to experience a joy and a sense of Christ's presence that they'd never experienced. We also, the good thing about a place like New York is single people, and that's all we had at first. We still are a majority single. It's easier for single people to ask other single people to come to church than it is for a family. See, if here's a Christian family and you know a non-Christian family, you try to get that non-Christian family to church, they almost all have to want to go. If the husband wants to go, the wife doesn't, or vice versa, they're not going to go. If the parents want to come and the teenagers say no, they may not come. But the singles make unilateral decisions because they're single. And what surprised me was that when we saw some the sleepy Christians and some nominal Christians wake up, when they turned to their neighbors to start saying, to be a little more bold and more humble. See, when you have the assurance, you're bolder and humbler. You're convicted of sin, so you don't have the arrogance you had, but you also are more confident and less concerned about what you look like to other people. So a gospel-transformed character makes you automatically a better evangelist because you're both bolder and humbler. And so we just had a group of people who were transformed by the gospel, and they just started bringing people in. And it shocked me the percentage of non-Christians I was preaching to every single week. And then when the people came, a certain percentage of them became Christians. And when you're, as you all know, when you're a brand new Christian, most of your non-Christian friends that are really, most of your friends that you're very close to are not Christian. When you're a new Christian, the people you really hang out with, you've shared your heart with, you've opened your life to, and they trust you and you trust them, a lot of them are not Christian. And so for a 2-year period after you become a Christian, you have a lot of clout and credibility with most of your friends, as long as you yourself did not just get into... See, there are churches that convert people to there's, let's just say, churches that are not particularly gospel-centered. They have what I would call them pretty legalistic. And there are people that want structure and they want authority in their lives. So they get converted to the idea that I'll be part of a place in which everybody tells me how to live every part of my life, and they want that. So they get converted to that. I won't try to evaluate whether that's a real Christian conversion or not, but they get converted to that. When they reach out to their non-Christian friends to bring them in, they have an arrogance about them and maybe an insecurity about them that doesn't make them very, very good evangelists. But a real gospel-changed life makes you a very good evangelist, and I just saw in those first 18 months an enormous explosion of people became Christians. They brought their non-Christians. It was simple. It was just exactly what you want. That's what happened.